5. Graph, square root, and cube root functions. So, the... The extent of what you need to know for this section is just what the parent functions look like. Because in pre-cal, very early on, I can't remember if it's chapter 1 or chapter 2, you have to memorize the graphs of 12 basic functions and know their domains and ranges. So we're getting an intro to that now. One of them's the linear function, which is just a line. One of them's a parabola. We already know that one. One's a cube function. Technically know what that looks like. I graphed it in the last thing beside the parabola or the palabra or whatever that Shepherd called it. Now you're going to get the square root and the cube root function. Super basic functions, and you'll already have like almost half of them that you know for next year. So all we're doing are the parent functions. So this first one is going to be the graph of the square root of x. So what can square roots not have inside of them? Negatives. So that implies that my square root graph has to only be where it is? Positive. So it starts here and it goes up and looks like that.
I like this curve.
Okay, because the square root of 0 is?
0.
Square root of 1 is?
1.
Okay. Square root of 2 is, don't know, but no. Square root of 4 is? 2. Okay, so I could plot points along this and get it, and what's going to happen is it's going to progressively go up. And anyways, it's going to follow this general shape every single time. Now, the domain of this function, we said, obviously, it just can't be negative, but we can be 0, correct?
Yes.
So, including, so it's a bracket, 0 all the way to infinity are my x values. Is it possible for y to be negative out of a square root?
No. Wait.
Yes, because squared.
No. It is not. Can it be 0?
Yes.
Yes, because the square root of 0 is 0. So the range, then, is also 0 to infinity.
So what's domain and what's range?
Domain is x, range is y.
Infinity could be a smiley face.
I don't like drawing infinities.
It's
They
like
look
good
good
math.
ones.
It's
I
like
know.
good eyes.
Look at my infinities. They're so small. I know.
All right, the other one
That is a face.
is for the function f of x equals the cube root of x. Now, can cube roots be negative?
Absolutely.
Yes, because something cubed would stay negative or stay positive, as the case may be. So, this function looks a little bit different, okay, than the last one. I'm going to put a couple little tick marks on here so that we can see it, because this one's probably not one that's just going to naturally make sense. What is the cube root of 0?
0.
0, okay. What is the cube root of 1?
1.
We don't know 2. What's the cube root of negative 1?
1. Negative 1.
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Now, if I went out to, like, 8 or something, then I could find, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go that crazy. But this graph basically does this. It kind of looks like the tangent graph, but sideways, or I guess I should say cotangent graph, but y'all haven't learned cotangent yet. But sideways. So it's like the square root graph, but it's also into the negatives. So it has this chunk over here. So with that being said, what would the domain of this function be?
Infinity to infinity.
Negative infinity.
Yeah, negative infinity to infinity, or you can write it as all real numbers, which this is a fancy R, which means all real numbers.
It's like a paragraph.
Whoa.
But it's an R, yes.
It's a rare graph.
Or we can write it as negative infinity to infinity. You don't need both. Either way means the same thing.
So cool.
What about the range? What y values does this take on?
Wait. All row numbers.
All real numbers. We are only seeing part of the graph. It would keep going on and on and on.
How do you draw that?
It's
What?
an R with a line behind it.
It's two straight lines. So 1, 2, and then I start here
Oh, I did it.
and I come around.
Mine looks just like that.
Mine looks better.
My regular
That is
R.
terrible.
So you can do it as negative infinity to infinity, either way.
Stop laughing.
But those are your two parent function graphs. I will reiterate, these are not on your quiz on Tuesday. These are on the test next Friday. You will be asked to draw the two parent functions and to state their domain and range. That's two guaranteed questions that I'm telling you 100% you are going to see.
Got it.
Should be free points because I'm telling you right now and you have them drawn perfectly for you right now. Yes.
Is it just preference that you used a bracket on the 0 and then a parentheses on the negative?
No,
Bracket
because
means
it
including.
says that you're not.
Bracket means including. Parentheses means not including.
I'll leave
We
it
can
at that. You
and
said it.
infinity only ever can be parentheses.
Okay.